私と同じ私のはずなのに、どういうわけか私よりも胸がしぼんでますね。どうしたんです？ちゃんと牛乳飲んでますか？待ってください。私の胸虚しい。ちょっとやさぐれたわ。何言ってるんですかこの野郎。
Hardwired.
欲張りすぎだ。ドロップ率から言ったら、なんで裸なんだよ。
濡れた服なんて着たくないよ。ここならすぐに乾くしね。
インナーまで脱ぐことない。
Number 10, Shichise no Subaru. Genres, action, fantasy, game, sci-fi. Asahi's life in reality ended simultaneously when she died playing Union, a world-renowned online RPG. The members of Subaru went separate ways when Union shut down due to Asahi's death. 6 years later, Haruto logs onto a renewed version of Reunion and reunites with Asahi, who had died. Is it really her, or just an electronic ghost? The former team members reunite and enter the mysterious and deadly online game to find out. Number 9, Majo no Tabi Tabi. Genres, adventure, magic, fantasy. Since childhood, Elena has always been fascinated by the stories written within her favorite book, especially those about Nike, a renowned witch who had numerous great travels across the world. Wanting to experience the awe of adventure herself, Elena strives to become a witch, and despite the numerous trials that come her way, she eventually succeeds. Now, a full-fledged witch, Elena finally embarks on her long-awaited journey, in which she meets many people along the way, learning their various stories. Through all of this, she explores the world at its fullest, experiencing both its bright and dark sides, starting her legendary tale.
このような略奪行為など神がお許しになられるはずがありません。たちの行いは慈悲深く神に対する冒涜行為と。
神なんだぞ。様お世話になります。
神様。
Number 8, Heian Serai no Idaten Tachi. Genres, action, adventure, demons, fantasy, seinen. 800 years ago, terrifying demons threatened mankind's existence. On the brink of extinction, humans prayed to their gods, calling out for someone to save them. Emerging from these desperate pleas for salvation, battle deities known as the Idaten were born. Possessing unnatural strength and endurance, the Idaten managed to defeat the demons, and an era of unprecedented peace was finally ushered in. Having never encountered demons before, the present generation of Idaten know nothing of the demons' brutality, but they have instead only lived a peaceful existence. Training under Rin, the only remaining Idaten from 800 years ago, the new Idaten find ways to survive in a time where they have seemingly outlived their usefulness. However, when the tyrannical Zobel Empire resurrects a demon, the misfit crop of gods are called to the battlefield against their natural enemy once more. Number 7, Sujo Gogeki Gazeta Gogeki de Nikai Gogeki no Okasan wa Suki Desuka. Genres, action, comedy, fantasy. Forming a party with one's mother in an online game seems not only unlikely, but also uncomfortable to most teenage gamers. Unfortunately, Masato Usuki finds himself in that exact scenario. After completing a seemingly meaningless survey, he is thrown into the world of a fantasy MMORPG, and his mother Momoko actually tagged along with him. On top of all of that, Momoko turns out to be an overpowered swordsman, possessing the power of 2-hit multi-target attacks. After minor tension between the two, they search for party members, meaning the merchant Porta and the sage Wise, starting their journey to clear the game.
俺の血を吸うといい。あの少年を助けに行きたいんだろう。さあ、じゃあね。
Number 6. Vanitas no Carte. Genres: fantasy, historical, shonen, supernatural, vampire. Scorned by others of his kind for being born under a blue moon, the vampire Vanitas grew afraid and desolate. According to legend, he created a cursed grimoire known as the Book of Vanitas, and it is said he would one day use it to bring retribution upon all vampires of the Crimson Moon. In 19th century Paris, Noah Archiviste is searching for the fabled Book of Vanitas. While traveling aboard an airship, he is saved from a vampire attack by an eccentric doctor who calls himself Vanitas and carries the very tome he seeks. Ironically, the self-proclaimed vampire specialist is a mere human who inherited both his name and the book from his master, the same Vanitas of legend. As the odd case of the charlatan's parade crops up, the doctor's ability to restore sanity to vampires by recovering their true name will prove most beneficial.
やっぱり持つべきは鍛冶師の友人だね。
何か私だけとても恥ずかしいもののような気がするのですが。
やだな、みんなとっても似合ってて素敵だよ。
お気持ちは大変ありがたいのですが、やはり入浴の神髄は全裸にあり、温泉に入るにはそれなりの作法があるのです。皆さん、まず2礼、2拍手、1礼。
Number 5. Dungeon ni Dei wo Motomeru no wa Machigaru Daruka. Genres: action, adventure, comedy, romance, fantasy. Life in the bustling city of Aurario is never dull, especially for Bel Cranel, a naive young man who hopes to become the greatest adventurer in the land. After a chance encounter with the lonely goddess Hestia, his dreams become a little closer to reality. With her support, Bel embarks on a fantastic quest as he ventures deep within the city's monster-filled catacombs, known only as the Dungeon. Death lurks around every corner in the cavernous depths of this terrifying labyrinth, and a mysterious power moves amidst the shadows. Even on the surface, survival is a hard-earned privilege. Indeed, nothing is ever certain in a world where gods and humans live and work together, especially when they often struggle to get along. One thing is for sure though, a myriad of blunders, triumphs, and friendships await the dauntlessly optimistic protagonist of this Herculean tale.
大丈夫ですか、姫様。
Number 4. Peach Boy Riverside. Genres: fantasy, shonen. In a magical world where humans, demi-humans, and Oni are heavily at odds with each other, a princess named Saltarine Sally Aldyke is on a journey to find a person named Mikoto Kibutsu. Traversing the world, Sally comes across many truths that she has been ignorant of due to her lineage, including the knowledge that the Oni possess power potent enough to wipe out humanity. Seemingly blessed with a way to counter the Oni's might, Sally has a strange power that manifests itself as a sigil resembling a peach, giving her superhuman abilities capable of defeating powerful Oni with ease. Even so, Sally refuses to discriminate between humans, demi-humans, and Oni as much as possible, believing that peace between the three factions could be attainable one day. On the contrary, Mikoto, who also has the same ability as Sally's but with greater mastery, has a different goal. Mikoto is out to kill and torment all Oni in existence, stopping at nothing to fulfill this objective. As Sally and Mikoto continue to cross paths, the power they possess will spell the difference between amicable coexistence and utter annihilation.
リオです。お騒がせしてすみません。先生。
Number 3. Seirei Gensoki. Genres: action, adventure, drama, fantasy, harem, romance. When 20-year-old college student Haruto Amakawa dies in a traffic accident, he does not expect to wake up in an unfamiliar world in the body of a young boy named Ryo. As their memories and personas fuse, Ryo realizes that he now also possesses magical powers. He is relieved to find that his burning passion for revenge against his mother's murderers has not subsided, despite his newly changed identity. Not soon after, Ryo comes across the kidnapped princess of the Bertram Kingdom and saves her without hesitation. To express his gratitude, the king grants him the opportunity to enroll at the Bertram Royal Academy. Believing this to be a new chapter in his life, he is excited to study at this prestigious academy, but life here proves to be difficult for him, a slum dweller surrounded by the majestic children of nobles. Shinka no Mi Shiranai Uchi ni Kachigumi Jinsei. Genres: fantasy. Hiragi Seichi is an ugly, revolting, dirty, smelly fat ass. These are the insults hurled at him one after another about his appearance. Such was Seichi's daily school life of bullying. Then for some reason, one day when school was out, a voice claiming to be a god said over the PA system to prepare to be transported to another world. What's more, not Seichi alone, but the entire school. A fantasy world where game-like elements such as levels, stats, and skills exist. However, the god still has preparations to complete for the transfer and would send them over as soon as the hero summoning ritual was ready. The classes all formed groups to wait for the transfer, but Seichi alone was discluded and, as such, was summoned to a different era. After being transported, the first thing Seichi ate was the Fruit of Evolution. This would come to greatly change his life. This story is about how Seichi went from being severely bullied by his classmates, even not being recognized for his accomplishments, and despite all that, staying positive and surviving in the new world. As a result, he somehow becomes one of the champions. Also, the first heroine is a gorilla? Number 1. Kyukai no Kanata. Mirai Kuriyama is the sole survivor of a clan of Spirit World warriors with the power to employ their blood as weapons. As such, Mirai is tasked with hunting down and killing Yumu, creatures said to be the manifestation of negative human emotions. One day, while deep in thought on the school roof, Mirai comes across Akihito Kanbara, a rare half-breed of Yumu in human form. In a panicked state, she plunges her blood saber into him, only to realize that he's an immortal being. From then on, the two form an impromptu friendship that revolves around Mirai constantly trying to kill Akihito in an effort to boost her own wavering confidence as a Spirit World warrior. Eventually, Akihito also manages to convince her to join the literary club, which houses two other powerful Spirit World warriors, Hirumu and Mitsuki Nase. As the group's bond strengthens, however, so does the tenacity of the Yumu around them. Their misadventures will soon turn into a fight for survival as the inevitable release of the most powerful Yumu beyond the boundary approaches.